are tuned into your favorite radio station, Oasis FM on 89.8, and we are bringing you living water, water that can refresh, renew, and even bring hope to you. You're listening to the program Glory to God, and I'm Gabriël van Eeden, your host. And we've got some special guests in the studio, and it's all about Global Leadership Academy right here in Jeffreys Bay. And we're going to share and talk about the school itself, and then the great Trolley Pro, the Trolley race that will happen soon on the 25th of this month of April, right here in Jeffreys Bay at Fountains Mall, Jeffreys Bay. So, Stefan, you are the headmaster and main chief at the school. Can you share something from your heart, please?
Good afternoon, Gabriel. Good afternoon, listeners. What an absolute privilege it is to be on Oasis FM. It's. I think in principle we've got a very similar focus than Oasis. We really want to see the Koga community flourish and enter into what the Lord has planned for them. And I think when we started the school, Global Leadership Academy, we're a high school. We've got about 480 high school students at the moment. But when we started back in 2010, we had 30 kids sign up on that very first, that first intake. And I've seen over the last 17 years the Lord mature the mandate that He's put in our hearts. That mandate is simplified in a saying that we say, making disciples, shaping leaders. Those are the two legs that we stand on as a school. And we are purposefully and intentionally seeking the Lord in how do we build future leaders that in the first instance have a knowledge of Him and understanding and a relationship of Him, know who they are in Christ Jesus. And secondly, we try and equip them so that they will be young future leaders that walks out of high school with the confidence that the Lord has a plan and a purpose for my life. And we believe that when you can do that in a child, they are set for life. And of course, we've seen that over the years. But in essence, we really want to raise leaders that's not only educated academically, but is equipped to change lives.
I just want to talk numbers again. So you started with about 30 learners.
Yes.
And you're at?
480.
Wow, that's amazing. And whenever you're in this area, go visit the school. It's beautiful. It's so beautifully set right here in Jeffreys Bay with a beautiful view over the big blue ocean. Paul, let's go over to you, and you can share something about your life and how God intervened into your life that you ended up being a teacher at Global Leadership Academy.
I say good afternoon, Gabriel. Good afternoon, listeners. I had a funny story. I was doing a Global Challenge, the missions organization from where GLA originated from.
Yes.
I had the privilege of going around the world for 2 years, and at the end, I remember Stefan came towards me and he said, "Come, just be our school's sport coordinator." And it was a battle. Eventually the Lord spoke to my heart and He said, "This is definitely what you should do." And as I came down the first day, He also shook my hand and said, "Now you're the business studies teacher." So it's been from the start an amazing journey and of how the Lord grew us. So when Stefan shared about the students being equipped, it's also the teachers being equipped as well to build the kingdom.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about the business and the world and the tours and the exposure. But let's go over to the young man here, a grade 12 learner, Daniel Beck, and you can share from your heart and tell us something about your life, what happened in GLA with you and so forth.
Hello, listeners. I'd say what happened in GLA is it's honestly completely changed my life. The school has opened me to so many opportunities, like traveling. It's opened my eyes to the Lord, looking into the Bible, things like that. But literally in every aspect, it's just positively helped me grow as a person.
So you are now more mature. And tell us something about your maybe travel school or some of the other adventures you did as a young man.
Travel school was It's something that GLA does for grade 10 learners, where
Yes.
they pretty much take them to areas around the world. And when we went to Thailand. It was me and my friends. Mr. Kleyn joined us, and we were joined by some other teachers. But yeah, it was an eye-opening experience because we spent a lot of time with the Lord, especially in a country that isn't Christian-based.
Yeah.
That was also eye-opening. But the people in Thailand were so welcoming, even though in our beliefs we were different to them.
Yeah.
But being in Thailand, it also taught me how to, in a way, fend for myself, and not rely on too many people around me, but to also focus on what I'm doing. But yeah, it also greatly impacted my spiritual life. It really helped me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's good. Thank you for the feedback. Stefan, over to you again.
Yeah, I think the Global Challenge, the organization that started GLA as a school, we were initially, in 2006, a group of young believers, 26-year-olds, with backpacks traveling the world in that year through 20 countries on a faith journey. Very much a Luke 10, where you had to trust the Lord for a man of peace and a place to serve. But the manner in which we traveled was one of serving. We really wanted to serve those that's in need. And we were confronted with a lot of challenges and needs as we traveled. And I remember Anne-Marie Franken, our founder, saying to us, she told us this story, and it will always stay with me. You know, in this generation, if you think of all the people that's lived over the span of the world, all of those people are currently living on earth. And biblically, you know, the Lord had the Moses and the Daniels and the Esthers and those biblical leaders over that period. He needs in this generation all of those spiritual leaders at the same time to lead with integrity and to lead his church. And so that's where the emphasis on our leadership development comes. When a child comes to GLA, I think most of us, even our listeners today, the one question that you're confronted with always is, what's the purpose of my life? What's the reason for my existence? And one of the key verses for us is in John 6, and if I can share it, the disciples are confronted with that same question. They're talking to Jesus, and they're asking the Lord in John 6, verse 28, what shall we do that we may also do the work of the Lord? They're asking exactly that. What's the purpose of our life? And Jesus gives them an amazing answer. He just reduces all of those things that we think we must do for the Lord to just this simplicity. And he says, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he sent. So he just brings them back to the simplicity of loving Jesus, to believing in Jesus as the Son of God. And I think as much as we're adventurous in the school, one of our slogans is a life like no other, adventure awaits. Those are sayings that the kids hear because we want to be a fun environment for kids. But at the same time, we believe we have to answer this question. What's the purpose of my life? And we try and do that through things like travel school, through our survivor program for grade 11s, and of course this upcoming trolley race.
While you're sharing, we all know John 3:16, but I just want to read for us today 1 John 3:16. By this we know love, because he laid down his life for us, and we also ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. So in a sense, in laying down your love means your life. So if you're prepared to give your life, you can give the love of Jesus to others. And often the world out there needs one thing, and that's the unconditional love of Jesus Christ. And that's why when Jesus left the earth, Father sent us the Holy Spirit to come live in our hearts, so we can actually represent the love of Jesus by just sharing and living a beautiful Jesus kind of life. Over to you, Paul.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would like to add to what Stefan shared, and this is the motto by which we do things. When he said that Jesus responded to him, this is the work of God, that you believe in him of whom
Yeah.
He sent. For us, our motto comes from that, and that we want to make disciples and shape leaders. In every activity, in every classroom, on every sports match that we play or host, this is the thing. We want to build kingdom by making disciples and shaping leaders. And for us, this is an amazing platform to do this. So when Stefan started to say what a privilege to be here this morning, that's the heart that I wake up in the morning to think, I cannot believe I get paid to do what
Wow.
I'm doing. It's a real privilege.
Yeah. And I mean, if we look at the numbers at school, we're probably going to reach the 500 plus very soon. And the way that I can see the school and the facility, there's room for growth. There's room for more students to come and enjoy and see what the school is all about. It's almost like go and find Jesus there so that Jesus can live inside of you to make a difference to all the world.
Yeah, I'd like to just maybe add this because it's something really new. We've expanded into technical education.
Yes,
So
yes,
in the
yes.
past, we've just been academic school. Now students in grade 9, they can choose either a technical or academic stream. And I think specifically for that is because we want to be relevant in our education.
Yes.
And those students are all able to either further their studies in engineering or actually find a practical job for themselves or be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think that's something nice because often a young kid at school, a learner, has got ability, but it doesn't fit into his practical side, and he needs to be academically educated, but his heart is longing to become a motor mechanic, for instance, and that's not so cool, but we all need a good qualified motor mechanic to fix our vehicle, to get it going. So that's where we can accommodate the young learners with that practical desire in their heart to start and do something where they can serve the community by fixing and repairing and solving problems. That's one thing more from your side, Paul.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I really appreciate of being at school and at GLA specifically is the fact that we've got freedom to really trust what the Lord's telling us individually and bring it to the school leadership, and then have the freedom to run with it. And maybe if we can share a bit later about Vision Tour, but that's where it started. It started about seeing needs in the school, seeing needs in the environment, seeing where the kids realize that there's a greater need in a Koga, and then coming together to say, how are we going to solve it, how are we going to equip everyone, and things like that happen. And to see how God is behind it and how He spearheads it and builds momentum and takes it forward, it's amazing.
Yeah. Over to you, Daniel.
Yeah, I think as a student at the school, I think it's definitely our responsibility to take part in what the whole school lays out. You know, I mean, the school will put out everything, but they can only go so far. You know, and I think it's also it's like a partnership that the kids have to work together with.
Yes.
You know, and I think it's really good. I'm really thankful for what the school does. Like I said earlier, they give crazy opportunities, you know. But yeah, I think it's really good for us to learn to express our beliefs in what we do, like Mr. Duplessis said, on the sports field, and just what the school gives us.
I like the part where you says you're in partnership. You work together, you join together, you partner with the school and teachers and let's put it this way, the dream, God's dream for Global Leadership Academy, and you make a willful decision, I'm going to partner with this. I want to be part of it. I want to be something, a person that can make a difference. This local society, and then with all your world tours and travels, that will also impact the world. Over to you, Stefan.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I'd like to share on this being the trolley race as a theme also, because it's such a good picture for where we started. When we started in the Equinox Mall, of course, not having any other location that would accept us. And in those very first months, we also, of course, had to come up with a fundraiser. And being in a shopping mall, we as a governing body, one night sat around a table and said, what can we do to raise funds, for the school? And someone around the table had this idea of, why don't we sell shopping trolleys to local businesses, and then we transform that trolley into representing the sponsor or the business, and then we race around the track on a Saturday. And to us, that was a great idea for a couple of reasons. One, it allows the school to partner with local businesses, and we've really seen great support from KOGA. Thank you for that. But it also creates opportunity for learners to step out into a leadership opportunity, because now they have to endorse a brand, they have to come up with a concept, an idea. They themselves need to transform that trolley by using old materials, pipes and Hessian and whatever they can find, and use that then to creatively transform into something that represents the sponsor. One of the business owners actually in that first year said to us how wonderful this is for him, because he knows in a couple of years from now those kids will be future homeowners in Jeffreys Bay, and they will all need, for instance, a certain service. And who are they going to phone? They're going to phone the guy that whose trolley they built when they were at high school. So there is a great relationship between us and local businesses. That first year we had 10 trolleys, and the very first winner, maybe the very first race, we initially set out to do 40-minute races. So we had the 5 trolleys lined up and we said go, and these 5 trolleys was pushed around the track by us as staff and kids. And halfway into that race, we looked at each other and we were completely exhausted. And right there in the middle of the race, we changed the time from 40 minutes to 20 minutes.
Okay.
We've did another revision. Now it's only 15 minutes. But that first year was such a joy, and of course a lot of effort. And the Lord has really blessed the trolley race over these years. But that celebration of kids coming alongside a sponsor and coming up with creative ideas and building it themselves, it's priceless.
Yeah. What is the date? And Paul, you can tell us about where can the listeners go view the trolleys, and when is the big day, and where specifically time-wise it's going to happen?
No, thank you, Gabriel. I'll give a bigger picture. So the trolley race it's starting in this week already, where the learners, they've already reached out to their sponsors. They've started with their designs. Daniel here said he's not going to give his sponsor, Ultimate Paints, their concept away, because they still want to keep some advantages. But in this week, they start with their design, their building fine details. So our dates that is set out for trolley building is this coming Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th. They have the whole evening, or afternoon and evening of Friday, and then they will finish up at 12 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. After that, the trolleys will be transported very carefully to Fountains Mall, and then it will be on display for anyone to come and see. Unfortunately, the trolley building is in the school facility and is behind doors. It's a security feature that we do for the kids, and to make sure that we don't lose kids as well during the night. But they're more than welcome to come and view the trolleys. This year, Fountains Mall said there's another a raffle going to be hosted on the day that if you vote for your best trolley, that you can win a Fountains Mall voucher. So we want to urge the public to go and view, vote for their favorite trolleys, and then support us on the day. And the day would start on Saturday the 25th of April. It normally starts at 7:30 to 8 o'clock, where we start setting up. The pit stops will be set up in that time, where the sponsors do a whole garage pit stop kind of effect like you would see in Formula 1 to best promote their brand. And then the races will start at 10 o'clock shortly after a parade through the mall. We'll have our junior races, the grade 8s to 9s, which starts at 8:30. The senior races, which is grade 10 to 12, which will start at 10 past 11 in the morning. And then we'll finish just before 12 with the final race. Then there will be lucky draws and everything will be done by 1 o'clock. In the meantime, there's a lot of jaffles, pancakes, cool drinks, coffees to be sold. And it promises to be a day of great adventure.
Yeah. What I like about the whole trolley race is the fact that the community and businesses can get involved. To support the school, to go to next level and great heights. Over to you, Daniel. You've been involved with the trolley race for how many years now?
It's been from grade 8 until now, so 5 years.
So you're experienced.
I'd say kind of.
Yeah. What's the best memory that you've got of the trolley race over the last couple of years?
I'd say it probably comes from, I think it was last year.
Yes.
Where so we were doing our race. Well, I've actually got two.
Okay,
I'll
share them.
say the two. So the first one was last year when was either last year or the year before. But my brother came down and he said he would run for us.
Mhm.
And it was such a good memory for me just running with my brother, who in his last year won the trolley race.
Okay.
And it's definitely a memory that I'll keep in my head. And then the other one that I'll always remember was in grade 9 when we won the trolley race.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just pure excitement and happiness amongst our whole class. And then when we got to school on that Monday, it was just really, really good vibes in our class.
Yeah. Do you think there's a better vibe or a positive vibe at school now just before the trolley race?
I do think so. You can definitely feel that there's excitement building among the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when we do build the trolleys in the school, there's vibes across everyone. Yeah, there's not a single kid that doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. Tell us about the situation overseas, where something like this started. Who wants to share with that, Stefan?
Maybe I'll share just initially. I think just to help you understand this, in the trolley race, 2 kids are pushing the trolley, and there's actually another smaller child, most likely, a small sibling, inside the trolley with a helmet on and sometimes got knee pads on, and they are pushed around the track for a full lap, and then they have to change in the pit stop, the drivers and the 2 pushers. So it's quite an action. If you haven't seen it, it's quite actionable and dangerous, because these kids are jumping out of the trolleys to get that pit stop done as quickly as possible. There's some strategy also involved in that, which I think Daniel knows better on. But so a few years ago, we had a visiting group from Germany, Ilsfeld. And it was 2 teachers and 4 students that came on exchange program. And they were here in the same time as our Great Trolley Pro. And they were just completely overwhelmed by the excitement, the amount of people that were there, and just what they saw. And of course, they helped with the building of the trolleys in the week leading up to that. And so they, in that exchange program, both schools had to collaborate on a project.
Yeah.
And so we would then visit them in September of that year. Our trolley race is normally the last weekend in April, like this year on the 25th of April. And so when we would visit them in September, they then said, okay, but you guys come over and you're going to host a trolley race for us in this small town in Ilsfeld, Germany. So, in preparing for this, of course, we had a couple of meetings over Zoom, and we were able to help them get theirs off the ground. So when we arrived in Germany, Daniel was part of that group. We were so stunned by these German engineers and future engineers, because they were school kids, but they did such a good job with the designing of those trolleys and finding their sponsors and building the trolleys. I was actually very impressed with that. And so they also had, I think, 12 trolleys, and then that small town had only one shopping mall, and it did take a lot of convincing for this shopping mall to allow them to, or grocery store, to allow them to use the parking area. But one very funny thing was, because of the health and safety in Germany, there was no way that they were allowing a 4 or 5-year-old kid in the middle of this trolley as a driver.
Yeah,
there was just no way. So in the end, they came up with a plan to have a bucket of water, and then the trolley that spilled the least amount of water, they would get a bonus point. So at the end, they were standing there with these scientific measuring cups and everything, and they would pour out and it was so exciting how excited they would be for, who spilled the least amount of water. It was an amazing opportunity for us to, again, that's what the Lord has done in Jeffreys Bay and in GLA specifically, to be able to share that with others, in a foreign country. And so they've now had multiple races since then. And maybe Daniel can
Daniel,
share.
you can share with us about your overseas experience with the trolley race there.
Yeah, it was a lot, honestly. But when we were in Germany, and obviously everyone was building their trolleys, but a big factor for the trolley race is also the crowd, because the crowd brings all the atmosphere, So there was this one day where the Germany group with Mr. Schultz, we were just in the shopping center, just handing out flyers the whole day. And we were getting so many weird looks, so many what is this about, everything like that. Most of it was in German, so we couldn't really answer them. But I think they got a rough idea. But we were so nervous with how many people were going to show up. And then it came to the trolley race, and it was packed. Everyone was there. And then when it came to actually running in the trolley race, it felt so different, because this time you had to be a lot more careful with spilling less water than actually just focusing on winning the race.
Yes.
But yeah, it was also quite funny because it measured on water on who did the best. And when they were measuring the water, some of the kids threw in sparkling water to make their water level seem higher. So then when they poured in the water, you could see that they added water to show that they cheated. So they were just immediately disqualified. But that was really funny. But yeah, the whole trolley race was actually to raise awareness for the water shortage that South Africa was going through.
Yes.
And with the large crowd that it brought, I think it was really successful.
Yeah. The Christian part, the underlying spiritual part, was it possible to share the love of Jesus in Germany?
Yeah, I think if I can tell a very specific story. So in 2018, a group of global challengers visited different towns in Germany where they shared, where they went specifically to pray. My wife was part of that group, and they were invited to Ilsveld, to the church tower. So they went up into the church tower in this town, and they prayed over the town of Ilsveld.
Yes.
And actually praying over that same school. Now, that was 2018. In 2023, when we got to visit Ilsveld and had that invitation, there was no connection between that visit and our visit. So when we realized that this is the same town which we actually prayed over 5 years prior,
Wow.
there was some significance in that for us about this opportunity. And so with great respect, the visitors that came didn't really know, didn't come from a Christian background.
Yes.
And I remember them in the school asking, but what is this atmosphere here? What is it that, and I didn't want to give an easy answer, but all I could tell them is this is the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Wow.
And I remember how this was just completely new to this group. And so when we visited them then in September, one of the things they asked us to do was, would we like to go and climb the church tower? Sounds like that's something that you do in Ilsveld.
Yeah.
And of course we said yes. And so we went up all the way to the top of this church tower, and here I was standing with the teachers that visited us in April. And I left this story for that moment. And I shared with them, I said, you know what? The Lord loves you so much that 5 years prior, He sent a group from our town that came to pray over your school and over your city without us knowing. And here we are today, 5 years later, and we're able to share with you why this happened. And it's because the Lord predestined it and prepared it for us. That was a special moment. You could see on their faces how much that meant to them to understand that the Lord formed this connection between us and Ilsveld. And still today we're in constant communication. They've been here again and we've been that side again. And it's so good for me to see the community also that's been established through something like this relationship and through the trolley race of gathering that town together on a Saturday morning, and they're experiencing a similar community that we are experiencing in Jeffreys Bay when we have the trolley race.
It's beautiful to learn and to hear that the school's got a worldwide interest. And this school right here in Jeffreys Bay, Koga, South Africa, can have an impact in Germany and bring hope and the good news of Jesus Christ all over the world. That's so beautiful, you know, and even if I look at our involvement in Global the last couple of years, we've been a sponsor for the last 3 or 4 years, I think, and what a privilege to see the development. And I'm also very technically gifted, and it's always nice to see that the kid with a practical can now be encouraged and to see there's nothing wrong with you, my child. You are gifted for a specific purpose. Go and we'll educate you and we'll teach you and learn you and give you a self-confidence that you can now make a difference wherever you go. Gifted by God to make a difference. Over to you, Paul.
Yeah, if I can add to what I shared earlier, with all of this wouldn't be possible without our sponsors, like Stefan shared. This process starts actually at the end of last year, where we do a call to the public to join, and we can't say sponsors, we have to say partners, because it's the Kogo community come together to support. So there's a couple that's been long-standing partners, and if I may mention, I would love to take the opportunity.
Do that.
So we've got Abizer Construction, we've got Moore in Imasdorp, JB Superspar, they've always been rock solid with us, Woodlands Dairy, Top Trusses, Aussie's Home Depot, they joined last year. We have Edufos, Fountain Small, which is a big supporter of us, Pick and Pay Fountain Small, with every venture there really supporting us as well. Lombardini, Cape Cross joined us as well last year. Then we have this amazing jewelry shop in the mall, Gabriel's Jewelers. You should all visit him, definitely. McDonald's, they're there, Ubuntu Bricks, and Langkloof Bricks, as well as Ultimate Paints. They're our partners that have, over the past few years, support us consistently, and now we've got a couple new ones, which we're very excited about. We've got Kelston Motor Group, we've got Beesland Slaghuis, Just Property, and we've got Job SA Engineering and Management. So this is a call to all the public to come and join, not just to come and watch the fun activities, but bring a pair of tackies. Come pull up your socks, run a lap, join the kids, catch a kid that's jumping. You will not believe the action photos that we get. Afterwards, like Stefan shared, when we have to get a small kid, like he said, 3, 4, 5 years old, out of the trolley, they take it literally as to get the quickest turnaround time. So normally we would run with the trolley, stop at the pit stop, there would be a table, someone would take the kid out gently, another one would get in, and then you would have your new two pushers and pullers run off. But now what happens, and Daniel can attest to it, the trolley gets pushed and almost launched to the pit stop. And then in that moment, the kid in the inside his sides, he turns into Superman. So he launches himself. So for, I don't know how far it looks, like 2 meters, but it's probably not that far. The kid flies through, one of the parents catches, and another one's miraculously appears in the inside, and then the 2 drivers head off on the next lap. So it is a real fun experience. No one has ever been injured. We do have ambulance services on site, but it is a real fun experience that we want to invite everyone into. Yeah.
Over to you, Daniel. Just share from your heart as a learner, just something about the school, your maybe travel school, and then other involvements. There's something adventurous also. I'm not sure, what do you call that?
Yes, I've partaken in a lot of the school stuff, like travel school, like I said earlier, where we went overseas, spread the gospel. Then there was Survivor, where we are pretty much just put in an area and we have to survive. It pretty much follows the TV show Survivor, and there's challenges. These challenges, you get rewards and tokens and food, but it's also, for me, it was a test of my faith. Yes. Because it really taught me to be patient and to rely on Him, and to get me through that hardship. Then there was also the Germany exchange project that was also eye-opening. But yeah, and then when it comes to the trolley race, the amount of emotions you feel is actually scary. For me, when I first ran in the trolley race, it generally felt like my stomach was just turning. I was so nervous. But then after the first lap, I was immediately like, let me run again, let's go. And people actually had to stop me from running so I wouldn't tire myself out. But yeah, it's fascinating to be a part of it and to just work with the school and what they provide.
Yeah, that's good, man. Stefan.
Yeah, as we continue to establish ourselves, I think it's clear that we're really still a young school. You know, a school traditionally, very easily becomes 100 years old. And we're constantly thinking about what does the future hold for Global Leadership Academy and our influence in Jeffreys Bay and in the Kouga region. And I really, my prayer is that we won't just be a school where kids graduate.
Yes.
And that in a couple of decades from now, people can really look back and say GLA contributed to my life and to establishing a town and an area that's a model for others to look at. I think, none of us are in the work of sacrificing ourselves and giving of ourselves within education and not wanting to see a permanent fruit. And so our real desire is that there will be a permanent fruit on our labor, that through the education that we offer, yes, that kids will excel and become future entrepreneurs and business leaders and artisans, but we also, of course, want to see them really make a contribution in life. And you get the privilege of seeing that over a period of time. I'm now at the school from the very beginning, and I've seen multiple students come back over the years and testify that that the Lord has used them significantly. One of our students, she's now in South Korea, and she came back on her 10-year reunion a couple of years ago, and she testified that she's an illustrator and a producer. She works in a publication company, and she's writing and telling Christian stories in the education system in Korea, South Korea. And she is woven within those stories, without, of course, clear biblical references. She's actually telling biblical stories with biblical principles, and it's in the primary schools in Korea. What amazing testimony of a child that actually realized their potential, and she's now bearing fruit. And I think it's those kind of stories that when they come back, it encourages you to continue the work. So it's. We're not sure what the future will hold, but I think if the Kouga can know that GLA isn't there for ourselves, we're not there to build our own kingdom, we're not there to establish something. There's no trustees that financially benefits. We're not an independent school in the sense of a private school. We're a registered non-profit organization that wants to build something that will outlast our own our own lives, and that will over all the coming decades really continue building long term into the Kouga. And there's invitation, if you're unsure, if you're not sure what exactly we're about, come and drink a coffee, walk the corridors, hear our stories, and come alongside us and help us establish something special in the Kouga.
Yeah. If parents or maybe learners are listening today, what would be the first step for them if they want to approach the school?
Yeah, I would really invite you for a coffee. Like, that would probably be the easiest, and it's an opportunity for us to meet each other. There is a information evening that's specifically tailored for people who are interested in joining the school on the 12th of May. It's a Tuesday evening, if I'm not mistaken, and then you can hear the big story and see all the classrooms. Normally, the program starts at 6, but if you're a little bit earlier, then you have opportunity to walk through the school. So that's the 12th of May. It's coming soon. You can watch our Facebook, our social media, and our website will have information on that. But really, you have to come and see for yourself, and you have to meet us to get to know us.
Yeah. Paul, I joked just now about a gap year, another year where a student can now do a gap year at the school. But you mentioned something about tour, a financial or a business tour, something, just share it with us, please.
Yeah, so I remember from my time doing Global Challenge, during the traveling parts, that's where I really experienced the Lord. We could see His hand miraculously moving in times. We would be at a place, we were in China, we were held up at the border, and you had to stop and pray and trust the Lord. He would open up doors. So for us and for me at school, this is still the motto. And when this opportunity came arise of Vision Tour, my heart sprang alive. So we were one day, myself and another colleague, Thomas, were sitting and talking because we had to help other educators with tours, and we handed over one of our tours that we just established for the top 10 leaders and academic performers in the school. And we looked at each other and said, but what now? We've done this. And he said, no, listen, I want to go to America for this. And I said, yes, I've got the same heart. I want to go. And it didn't gel 100% in that. It was still purely of, our own motives, want to see, travel. And then the more that idea grew and grew and grew, with more conversations, we had international visitors, guys that sponsored us from America that we've built relationships with, from a retail orphan initiative that's based in New York. They started and said, listen, why don't you come overseas? And that's where the idea reflamed itself and said, but maybe there's something that the Lord wants to do in this. And we looked at the stats and the unemployment rate in specifically in Kouga for a youth, and which is a alarming high number. When we did the research, it was more than 60% of our youth between 18 and 25. Sure. And we felt like this, we really need to hammer on this. So the school is there to bridge that gap with regards to education. But we also know what happens if you don't have the skills, if you don't have the network, the people to pull on. So we said, let's give this a go. And we trusted the Lord. So last year was our first year that we had the privilege to go to America. We visited, we were in New York with a company called Celonis. They gave the learners a full financial data analysis course, free of charge. One of our students had the opportunity to do a presentation in front of the board of Celonis to say what he would do with their software. And they looked at us and said, where do you get these kids? Why are they such good, they've got insight and they ask good questions. So we saw how the Lord was working in that. We went to Burger King's headquarters where we had 2 full days where the execs cleared their schedules to hands-on equip them in all the areas of HR, marketing, finances, admin, facilities management. It was really a time where the Lord was putting in, and our heart behind these tours is that the kids would come back and not build their own kingdom like Stefan said, but really come and plow back into Kouga, plow back into Jeffreys Bay, and make a difference in someone else's life what they've had this privilege of getting at.
Yeah. I think what we called as children of God is to make an impact. I love Proverbs 11:25 that says, he who waters others will himself be watered. So if you can give of yourself to the world, to society, to school, to friends, that's the way that if you water others, God will look after you. So give, and it will be given unto you. Daniel, a last word from you before we wrap up the program. You won't believe it, our program is almost at an end.
I don't really have much to say. Just thank you for having us. And to the people listening, just show up to the trolley race to see what's happening. If not, partake in the trolley race. But yeah, I definitely urge them to come and watch it because it is that good.
Okay. Thanks, Daniel. Stefan, over to you, and we can sort of start wrapping up.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel. I think, in these days, we really need each other. We need community. We need relationships that's positive, that's life-giving, opportunities to witness things that's positive. And the trolley race is a event that's available for free for you to bring young and old to come and visit and to get also a taste of what GLA is and what we stand for. And really want to invite people to join us on Saturday, the 25th of April, between 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, it's the big parade, and thereafter the couple of races. But added to that, come and visit us at the school. And our heart is that the Lord will bless the Kouga region and its people, that it will be a place where people prosper and where lives really make an impact.
Now, you've invited people. If you can just shortly, before we Google, just tell us which road do you take? How do you get to Global?
Yeah, that's a good one because the GPS actually is completely messed up. But yeah, the easiest way, I just say, is get to the McDonald's Circle there at Fountains Mall and take the paved road. That paved road, if you don't turn off, it leads you all the way to the school. You can look at on our website, www.gla-jbay.org. You can give us a call, even send an email. We'd love to meet you.
Okay. If you can end off, Paul, with a short prayer for us and to bring a blessing over the school and to the trolley race.
Definitely, my privilege. So, Lord, thank you for this time together. And as we're listening, that we're a community together. Our heart is for the community, it's for building your kingdom.
Yes.
And may that always be our outlook, our vision. As we embark on so many ventures and going in so many partnerships and asking so many things, thank you that we know that it's you that's bringing everyone together. It's you building your kingdom in us, through us. So we ask that, Lord, will you continue with that? Thank you that we have the privilege of doing it, and we ask that you'd bless this town. Yeah, in Jesus' name.
Amen and amen. Thank you, guys. It's been a privilege having you on our radio.